Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for tuning in to BLOSM, Black Lives on Stage Matter. This is a reoccurring live stream series where we will create and discuss and give viewers an exciting look at the Black contribution to theater past and present. Each episode, viewers can look forward to seeing performances from people of color in the business, guest artists and DMR alumni students, as well as a special Black history segment that we call BLOSM Roots. So the goal of BLOSM is to build up the Black and Brown students in the performing arts community and to bring up the restoration of the culture. And with the concert series, DMR Adventures has created an all-new BLOSM Scholarship Fund. And this scholarship fund will help bring performing arts education to students in the Charlottesville area. BLOSM Scholarships Fund will be supported by viewers like you, and our goal is to raise $300 during this segment. So thank you so much for joining. I am Kolby Kindle. And our friends.
My name is Denise Folley.
And I am Xavier Taylor.
Thank you so much. And Denise is going to explain the fund for us and why we're here today.
Thank you so much, Kolby. As Kolby said before, we are happy to announce that this concert series is not only a way for BIPOC voices to be heard, it is an opportunity to help fund our new BLOSM Scholarship Fund. This scholarship will be specifically for BIPOC students who want to continue or start their performing arts training outside of a school setting. This is an amazing opportunity for us to help students become inspired and for students to raise their voices and to train to be the best artists and performers that they can be. Tonight, we are trying to raise $300 during the live portion of the show. The fund will remain past tonight with links provided for everyone to continue to send in donations. Now we have Xavier to talk about what is going to happen during the live stream.
Awesome. Okay, so very excited about tonight. What's going to happen? We're going to have two interviews. We have one with Jamard Richardson, and we have another with a DMR alum, Cameron Burton, this evening. Very, very exciting. And all of these are going to be sort of bounced around between the three of us. And then we'll also take our first look at our first installment of the BLOSM Roots series. We'll be talking about William and Walker. So I'm very, very excited and looking forward to these performances and these interviews. And I hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Yes, and I'm so excited to have our first performer today. He is a dear friend of mine. We go way back, and I'm so happy that he signed on to do this. His name is Jamard Richardson. Let me give you some deets on what he's been up to while he's been in this business. His Broadway debut was in the Book of Mormon, and he also toured with the show. And he was off Broadway in the show. Invisible Thread, and he was in the very beginning stages of the musical Waitress. So he has been very busy, and we know each other from tour. And some of his regional credits include Witness Uganda and Tarzan. So without further ado, my dear friend, Jamard Richardson.
You're one of a kind, I can't explain it. You're kinda cool in a wonderful way. Though you're weird, you can make it. And who better than me to teach you? Who better than me to set you on your way? And this could take some hanging in there, though with persuasion I can take you on up, make you grow beside the others. And who better than me to lead you? Who better than me to take you all the way? Hey. Struggling along for years and years until I came along for you. Coming, it's all coming together, and together we'll see this through. You for me and me for you. With the eye and tender persuasion. I feel a duty to help you through. But no, I still can't see the attraction. Who better than me to lead you? Who better than me to put a smile on your face? Who better than me, his best friend? Who better than me to show them all we love?
Oh gosh. I think you've muted your mic. There he is.
That was fantastic. That was so great. You
Thanks.
still got it. You still sound great.
You know, it's been hard in this quarantine to make sure that the voice is still warm, but we try. Things like this is amazing.
Gotta keep the gifts going.
Keep the gift going. There it is.
So let's just talk a little bit. So tell everybody where you're from.
I am from a suburb of Dayton, Ohio called Inglewood, Ohio. And yeah, I was born and raised there all 18 years.
Wow. And so what got you into the business? What inspired you to want to start doing theater? Like, were you pretty young when you started?
No, actually, I mean, I did do some of the like church plays growing up and sang in church choir. What'd you say?
So didn't we all?
Yes. But what really started the path down theater was in high school. Rather than choosing to continue to play the saxophone, I joined the choir, and in singing in the tenor section, lovely. The music teacher kind of just like heard the voice and was like, we got to get him into the musical. And so they asked, and I said no. And then finally he just threatened to fail me in the class, which of course he wasn't, but that was enough to get me to audition for my first musical, which was Children of Eden.
Nice. And who did you play in that?
There's the opening of Act 2, there's the Generation song, and I was one of the soloists in that.
Nice. And so you did theater as a kid, and then did you go to college for theater as well?
I did. I went to the University of Oklahoma and studied musical theater there. Got a BFA in 2013 is when I graduated. Eons ago. Not really, though. Yeah. And so it was kind of interesting to go from Ohio to Oklahoma. It felt like home, but it was so far away, and probably the furthest I had been from home ever.
Well, that's a fun fact is that's how Jamard and I bonded. Is I grew up in Oklahoma, went to college in Ohio. He grew up in Ohio, went to college in Oklahoma. And we just didn't really cross paths until tours. So
I know it was a mutual college friend that introduced us finally sometime when I was in school.
For sure. And so tell us about your transition from college and then moving to New York City. Like, what was that like?
Okay. So oddly enough, it's funny. I graduated in 13 and then I worked at Lyric Theater of Oklahoma that summer and did Tarzan, was actually this character, which was awesome. And tried to save up what little money I could. Was fortunate enough to audition for this show that was another theater in Oklahoma, City Rep, and they were doing Godspell, and luckily I got cast in that, which gave me my equity card. So then I stayed a little longer in Oklahoma, got my equity card. I think it was 5 days after the show closed. I drove to Ohio and then flew to New York. I had $600 to my name, and it was a wish, a hope, and a prayer. But I was thankful for my parents because my graduation gift was 6 months of rent on them. So that truly helped me.
That's truly a blessing.
I mean, it was literally a blessing because that $600 went quick.
I say it costs $50 just to step outside in New York City.
It really does. But this is by no means it's not a brag, but I was so proud of myself. I moved to New York on October the 13th. And by the end of that week, I had 3 jobs. I was working as a temp for Forest Solutions. I got a job with Lululemon as an educator, and I had booked Witness Uganda, my first audition in New York. It was absolutely crazy. It was crazy. But
I mean, well, you're a talent, and like, you know, we all have our different journeys, you know, like I came here and I worked at Toys R Us, you know, like you
Come
really
on, yeah,
make it work.
Survival job for sure.
Exactly. And so, like, when did you make your Broadway debut?
So I started to work with Book of Mormon on as a vacation swing in April of 2015. April 28th was my first day on Broadway working with that company. However, I did not make my debut on the stage until March 11th of the next year. So as a vacation swing, they would call me, I would come to the show, and I would be backstage, and I was like the in case of an emergency person.
Right.
And so, yeah, I worked with the show for almost a year before I made my actual debut with the Broadway company.
Right, exactly. And so you made your Broadway debut, then you joined the tour, and that's where we met.
Yeah. So I was bouncing around all over the place. And then in October of 16 was when I joined the tour as a permanent swing. Nice.
And so tell everyone a little bit about what a swing does, for those who may not know.
So a swing, I was an offstage swing. There are on-stage swings, but I was an offstage swing, which means that I show up to the show every night, and I'm not in the show as cast. I am basically the understudy to the ensemble members. And so if anyone is sick, if they get injured, if they're on vacation, if anything goes wrong, I am one of, who do we had like 9, I think, swings and standbys.
I think so, yeah.
Like I'm one of 9 that will just have to go on at any moment and be ready to perform I knew 7 different roles. So I just had to be prepared for any of those at any time.
And I remember there would be times where like someone would like call out of the show during an intermission, and you would just jump right in.
You had to jump right in. You really did. It was like voice warm, body warm. Let's go.
It takes a special person. I've never been a swing before, but all of my friends who do it, I'm always like, God bless you. Like, it's a challenge, and you have to be ready at all times. And so,
believe it, yeah.
So who would you say inspires you in this business? Like, who would you say that you look up to, or just like not even in this business, just as an artist, like any artist that you look up to?
Ooh, I have a lot of female artists that I love and look up to, like Lettucey or like Fantasia. Oh my gosh, my dog! I'm so sorry.
Fantasia, the dog was triggered.
She was. But like for men in theater, the Brian Stokes Mitchells, the Norm Lewis, Brian Darcy James, like these men who have these beautiful voices and can act down, like those really inspire me to push myself more. Sure. Also, to be honest, my best friend Aisha inspires me. Well, Aisha Jackson, for those who know.
Aisha, if you're watching.
Just push me to be better.
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with people like that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So out of all the shows that you have done, what would you say that one that you hold nearest and dearest to your heart? Like, what really had an impact on you as an artist?
It would have to be the first show I did from New York, Whitney, Uganda. It was my first time ever originating a musical. And just like, I'd say it was the best experience and the worst experience, because it gave me, while in that show, we had so much freedom with the music to kind of sing what our spirits felt and what it was music that just like transcended us, and just like our minds and bodies, we sang whatever we wanted and it worked. But unfortunately, that's not what most musicals are like. You know me, Kolby, that sometimes I struggle to sing what's on the page. And so like it came from that.
Would you say the spirit takes over and you embellish?
The spirit sometimes does take over, and it's like Fantasia, like, whatever she's singing, it turns into something, like she is singing, the spirit takes over. Yeah. I'm not saying that I am Fantasia, but some kind of spirit takes over.
I mean, that's why we love you, because we're always like, that's Jamar, sing it down.
There it is.
And so,
the
like,
cutoff was on 4.
Right, exactly. I'm like counting. So, like, what would you, for the young artists who are watching today, specifically our young artists of color, what advice would you give them going forward if they want to be in this business? What would you
Oh man, waited, but just I mean, follow your dreams, guys. It is the world is hard and uncertain, but if you've got the passion, the drive, and the oh Lord, if you have the passion and the drive, go after it. If you can put in the hard work and stay focused and know that it doesn't happen overnight, it really doesn't. But stick it in for the long haul, and you guys will, you know. That all that matters. It's like following your passion and your dreams truly does give you a fulfilled life.
Yeah, and like I always say, just be you. Don't try to be someone else. They already exist, and you're like a prime example of that. Just being yourself, and look where it's gotten you. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So thank you, Jamar, so much. We have like 1 minute left, so I kind of want to do like some rapid fire questions, just like off the cuff. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So these are just random, and I like wrote them out. I was like, well, how can I trip him up? So
you might do it. Okay. Let's do it.
So let's go real quick. Favorite cuisine?
Thai.
Favorite song to sing?
Let's Stay Together, Al Green.
Okay. Favorite Broadway show?
Hairspray.
Favorite movie?
Titanic? That's a lie. America. That's it. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Okay. Favorite Broadway diva?
Aisha Jackson.
Great. Favorite recording artist?
Sarah Bareilles.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving. Food.
When's your birthday?
November 21st.
Favorite vacation spot?
Germany.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Mariah or Whitney?
Whitney.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Donuts or cookies?
Who?
Donuts or cookies?
Oh, donuts.
Yeah, who? Favorite fruit?
Pineapple.
Favorite type of cheeses?
Goat.
Hamburgers or hot dogs?
Hamburgers.
Apple or Android?
Oh, Apple.
Okay. Bowling or putt-putt?
Real golf?
Yeah, okay. And what's your favorite candy?
Skittles.
Ah, okay.
Skittles, yeah. I was much better at that than I thought it would be.
Thank you so much, Jamar. And thank you so much. You are a talent. Jamar will be back to sing for us a little later. But now we're going to turn it over to our dear friend, Xavier. How you doing, Xavier?
I'm doing well. Always a pleasure to be here. This is our first time putting this together, so I'm very excited. Up next is going to be our first episode or installment of our BLOSM Roots series, which is where we'll take a closer look at the historical contributions of African Americans to the world of theater, and we'll sort of work to uncloud and destigmatize these sometimes and often overlooked stories to find our own roots in theater. So I hope you enjoy this next segment.
Before we start this next segment, I would like to give you a BLOSM Fund update. Woo! So right now, with my wonderful drawing, we have already raised $195 for this live stream. We only need, please tell me I'm doing good at math, 105 more to reach our goal of 300 for this live stream. Thank you so much for everyone who has already donated. And please, please, please keep on donating. Thank you.
It's not merely consider ourselves something more than we are, but rather, lastly, it's on our minds is the greatest thing to be ignorant. And these indecisions and realizations.
During their lifetime, Burt Williams and George Walker were the most influential and famous African American stage performers. Burt Williams was born in 1874 in the Bahamas, and he began to show his interest in theater in 1890. George Walker was born in 1873 in Lawrence, Kansas. He grew up working as a child in the minstrel shows. These two performers met during a show in San Francisco, and their relationship would become one that would foster a legacy. Bert Williams played in blackface a sad, luckless clown. But contrary to the standardized stereotyped caricatures of African Americans at this time, Bert Williams in this role played it as the straight man, if you will, the wise man in clown's clothes. Blackface performance has a complex racist history in the American theater. When it started, it was thought of as more of a theatrical concept, along the same lines as being a clown or a mime performer. And unfortunately, if you were a Black performer at this time and you wanted to make money and have any success, you would have to join one of these minstrel shows. So, when Black performers started to perform in minstrel shows, they also wore the burnt cork and other makeup to exaggerate their features, just as the minstrel performers before them had. Williams followed in this style, while Walker, on the other hand, worked without makeup, and he played a quick-talking, well-dressed dandy. This pair in combination wowed the audiences with their immense ability and aptitude at comedy and handling of songs and dance. I would be remiss if I did not include George Walker's wife, Ida Overton Walker, who is said to be the first established Black choreographer. Together, these two are attributed with popularizing the cakewalk, an early African-American dance among white audiences. Still, today, the dance maintains itself as a staple in the theater choreography community, as well as a tempo marking. This trio went on to create their own theater troupe, and not only that, but the first Black Actors Union, providing good pay, connections, a place for other Black writers, actors, singers, and dancers, composers to grow and to create their own companies and shows. A real tour de force and a hit success wherever they went. They did increasingly receive hate and racism. Despite this, they went on to create several musicals featuring all Black cast, including Sons of Ham, their most famous In Dahomey, Abyssinia, and The Red Moon. These productions were an attempt, and in some ways quite successful, at trying to push past the stereotypes and tropes of the minstrel shows that the two men found offensive. They worked to produce shows that they felt were more genuine and real, even producing in Dahomey, which was their second major piece, what is considered to be the first love scene between Black performers on stage, always pushing performers for higher quality. During their lifetime, they were the wealthiest and most well-known Black performers, making in one summer the equivalent of what would be in today's money a little over $3 million each. Not only did they have success performing in the United States, but were even invited in 1903 to perform their piece In Dahomey at Buckingham Palace. While touring with their show Bandana Land in 1909, George Walker fell ill and collapsed on stage. He would later die in 1911. After Walker's death, Ida continued performing. She starred in several musicals and continued her work as a choreographer. She would die 4 years later. Burt Williams, after the passing of George Walker, returned to the vaudeville circuit with a new act. Now respected in the theater community, he received top billing and high salary. This outraged other white acts in the circuit, and they threatened the producers and management with violence if they didn't pay and force him to travel, eat, and lodge separately from the rest of the company. In 1910, Williams was offered an opportunity of a lifetime to join the Ziegfeld Follies, though there was still a lot of pushback from members of the cast. He was kept on and made to write a lot of his own material and numbers. Despite this, Williams was a hit. As the first Black man to ever appear on Broadway, he went on to signing a recording contract with the early Columbia Records, having 4 major hits straight out of the gate. Williams went on to continue his relationship with the Follies until 1919, making him one of the longest reoccurring headliners. Burt Williams collapsed on stage in 1922. At the age of 47, he would die 2 months later. This era with its blackface doesn't translate comfortably to our times. But Burt Williams, George Walker, and Ida Overton Walker's influence on the American theater has lasted for over a century, with more to come. Before her death, Ida Overton Walker is quoted as saying, "I venture to think our profession does more towards the alleviation of color prejudice than any other profession among colored people." We'll end tonight with a clip of Burt Williams singing his most famous piece, "Nobody."
I never done in the morning. I never gotten up in the morning, no time. Until I get something from somebody sometime. I'll never do nothing for nobody, no time.
All right. So with that, I hope you guys learned something from that. Had a lot of fun putting it together, and I'm very excited to work on another one, moving us forward in history. But I wanted to pose the question to you guys sort of as a roundtable, going off of Ida Overton's quote at the end of the video. In what way do you feel that being a Black performer aids in the alleviation of race prejudice? I wonder if you guys had any thoughts on that. Or do you think it helps? Does it help? It's a question. So, Denise, go for it. Yeah.
I think it does, because it shows that we as Black performers, that we have stories to tell. We actually have the same stories as everyone else. It's just that we live them differently because of the prejudice and the racism that we have on our backs. And it's just showing us, and it's showing everyone, that we are all the same. We all have the same stories. The only thing that's different is just the color of our skin. So I think it does aid, because it helps. It's really bad to say, but it helps us become more human. It makes us more equal.
Yeah, I think having the discussion of what's the difference between a white relationship on stage and a Black relationship on stage. There isn't. A love is love. And so it's about telling the story from a different perspective. And I just think about, the fact that when Black Panther came out, it was such a great thing for the Black community, because for so long we've seen white superheroes. And believe me, I love a Spider-Man, I love a Superman. I'm not taking that away from them, but to see Black Panther and see like, oh, that I see me in that, so long I tried to live my life through these white superheroes, but to see something like that, I was like, it's very special. So I think the more that young artists can see older Black people in the arts, they realize that they can do it as well.
Fantastic. I completely agree. I think for me, it comes down to the simple fact that the whole idea or concept of theater is that we want to see something outside of ourselves that helps us come closer with ourselves. And the more that we can see more people of color or Black people specifically on stage will help people learn and connect with that idea. Essentially, as you said, Denise, that we're not that different at all. You know, we all feel and we may experience it in slightly different situations based on, you know, exactly how we're being viewed, but we all experience these same situations throughout life. And yeah, really fantastic answers. I did have one more quote I wanted to pull up from Booker T. Washington, who was quoted after the passing of Bert Williams. He said, "Bert Williams has done more for our race than I could ever have," speaking as Booker T. Washington, which is like one of the biggest African-American, you know, leaders and educators. He's saying that Bert Williams had done more for Black people than he could ever have by smiling and laughing his way into people's hearts. And I thought that was really special and beautiful, that something as simple as being a stage performer can have that sort of massive effect on society, and that it can be recognized by other people who are maybe having to struggle a little bit harder to get those same results. But anyways, this will in some ways conclude our first Roots series and our look into African-American theater contribution. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed being a part of it with you guys.
Fantastic job, Xavier.
Yes.
Put the whole thing together, and it was just magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So, go for it.
Yes. All right. We are going to jump into our next performing artist, who is a DMR alum. Her name is Cameron Burton. She is from a small town from Danville, Virginia, where DMR first started. She started in acting when she was 9 years old, when she performed in her now favorite production of Once on This Island. She graduated from Shenandoah Conservatory with a BFA in musical theater. Her previous shows include Hairspray, Oklahoma, and Beauty and the Beast with Shenandoah Summer Music Theater. And she was also in the Colored Museum at the Bargain Theater, Spring Awakening, and her favorite show, Once on This Island, where she played T. Moon at Shenandoah Conservatory. She will be performing God Help the Outcast from Hunchback of Notre Dame and a written piece called My Ladies. I am proud to introduce Cameron Burton.
I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to a gypsy's prayer. Yes, I know I'm just an outcast. I shouldn't speak to you. Still I see your face and wonder, were you once an outcast too? God help the outcast, hungry from birth. Show them mercy they don't find on earth. God help the outcast, they look to you still. God help the outcast, or nobody will. They ask for wealth, they ask for fame, They ask for glory to shine on their name. They ask for love they can possess. They ask for God and His angels to bless them. I ask for nothing. I can't get by. I know so many less lucky than I. Please help my people, the poor and downtrodden. I thought we all were the children of God. God help the outcast, children of God. Children of God.
This is to my ladies who have looked at their cocoa-colored skin in the sun and just watched the glisten of the coconut oil. The golden brown mixed in with purples and yellows and reds and blues, making magic. This is to my ladies whose whole hair defies the limits of gravity and rises like fresh dough. She grows upward, making it her intention to touch the sky. She moves onward to make this place safe for her to raise her young. This is to my ladies who have thick thighs, wide noses, and big lips. Embrace your beauty and know this to be true. You're made of magic, honey. Know this through and through.
Oh my goodness, Cameron, that was such an amazing song and poem. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
My first question is, what is it like being in the theater profession professionally?
It's slightly different, doing theater being your job, but it's so fulfilling. For being in the profession, I learned a lot about myself. I was performing at Universal. I'm currently not, but I learned so much from those girls. I learned how to be poised. I learned a lot about my voice, honestly. That, you know, being a powerhouse doesn't mean being loud. It just means being you, honestly, and exuding that in your best way possible. So yeah, I think that's what it.
That's a great answer. That's a wonderful answer. My next question is, I know you were with DMR in Danville, and you also came to Charlottesville when it came here, correct?
I did, yes.
Yes. So how about you? How did DMR help you as a performer?
DMR opened that door. The first time I did theater, it was with Xavier University in Danville. But I was so eager to get back to it. And when I think when I was 13, I don't know what year that was, I think 2009, we did High School Musical, and I was about to go into high school, but I truly found my group of people doing DMR Adventures. And I remember some of the things that Melissa would say to me, and I wish that it stuck with me through college even, because Melissa even gave me the advice of, you know, be you. That was the most important part. So that really, I think that Dreams Made Real Adventures is really about, you know, finding yourself, being yourself, and enjoying theater with that group of people.
Yes. So I do have, so you played roles at DMR.
Yes.
And as a Black queen yourself, I do have to ask, what was it like playing a role that was usually cast as white as a Black actor?
Honestly, it was empowering. It was empowering not being in a box. Once I got to college, so for the first few years, I was put into this box of having to be this big, boisterous voice in all of these particularly Black shows. And it wasn't until my senior year that I learned that I could do anything. If I wanted to, just like, you know, those before me, I could be Cinderella on Broadway. I could do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah.
My last question for you is, do you have any advice for any rising BIPOC artists?
Yes. Really just continue to strive for your goal. Never give up, because you are going to make it. We as a people have these amazing voices, amazing bodies, amazing stories to tell. Tell those stories. Don't let anyone quiet you, because you really can change someone's life. You really can do that. So never give up.
Wow, those are some empowering words. Thank you so much for being here, Cameron.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I am back with the BLOSM Fund update. So far, we have raised $260. We are so close to our $300 goal. Please keep on donating. Keep on doing what you do best. And also at the end of this, please share the live stream so your friends are able to see this who weren't able to, and they can also join in and have some fun and learn about BIPOC artists and continue donating for the BLOSM Scholarship Fund.
Thank you, Denise. That's good news. That's really good news. And thank you, Cameron, so much for sharing your story and that amazing poem and song. Thank you so much. I have to introduce Jamard again. I'm so happy that he's going to be singing one more song for us tonight. I'm putting in the work, you know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have one more performance from Jamard. So enjoy.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall trees bend into leaning. Suddenly the raindrops that fall hanging, sprinkling the sea, makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back there, now that I have some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world's gonna change its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I watched it growing. Oh, if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love. So it's real, real, real to me, and learn that we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love, like yours, like mine, like home. Lick them 3 times.
Thank you, Jamar. That was fantastic. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. So, do we have an update?
Oh, Denise is doing something on her board.
I am.
She's scribbling something.
I'm erasing something.
Oh,
Then I'm gonna scribble.
hopefully it's a higher number. Drum roll.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Woo! We made it to our goal, $300.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to all who donated. We really appreciate it. Thank you for spending time with us tonight.
It was great. It was wonderful. I loved it.
Really, really fantastic. I had a great time. I learned something. I went on an emotional journey. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also want to send out a special thank you to Justin and Nina for working back behind the scenes, getting things together, keeping us on schedule. You always got to thank the people who are working behind the scenes. Thank you, Justin and Nina.
Yes.
And Melissa, of course. Thank you, Melissa.
The link below. Look at the link below.
Yes, please donate. This video will be up after this, so please feel free to keep donating and sharing this with your friends. This is our first time doing this, and we are just so proud of it. It's like our baby. So thank you to everyone who tuned in.